Oh, hello. Dave Hudson here, somewhat locally recognized playwright in a few households. I'm here to talk about playwriting. Okay, enough of being silly. I'm just here to talk to you a little bit about playwriting, how I approach it, some basics of what you think about when you write a play, so you can take a look in my process. So let's talk about what's the most basic thing. What's the most basic thing when we talk about a story? Whether, and these same rules apply, whether it's on stage, in a TV show, or in a movie on screen. And the basic thing we need to look at is what needs to happen to make it interesting. Now, if you really study playwriting, you'll hear all of these things. You'll hear like the hero's journey and obstacles and, layers of how to get there. But in the very basic way of looking at it, the simplest way to think about it is there a problem that needs to be solved, right? So let's talk about a couple of stories that most of us probably know. First of all, let's go Wizard of Oz. The problem that needs to be solved for most of the show is Dorothy wants to get home. There's no place like home. And she spends a lot of that story trying to solve that problem, okay? The Star Wars, okay? Star Wars, obviously Luke's trying to prove himself, but the big problem that needs to be solved is the Empire, and we're talking about episode 4 here, it's sort of the original Star Wars. Other than Luke, really what needs to happen is they need to destroy the Death Star because it's a weapon that will give the Empire unlimited power and be able to rule the universe forever. So that's the goal there. And that's heightened at the end when they realize that the moon that they're staying on will be blown up by the Death Star and they won't have anywhere to go. But that's really the basics of that, is that what's the problem? The Death Star. You can throw in everything else, but really that's what's going on. Not too long ago, there was a really fun show called Schitt's Creek, which was on Canadian television and then Netflix. And really, the overarching theme of that show is the Rose family wants to get back to the life they used to have. They're always looking at different businesses and how to get there and how they will succeed. And then each of them has their own way they want to get back to that life. And I bring up that show because one of the things that is often interesting in writing in general is that you have that problem, that goal that you want to achieve. You want that problem to be solved. And when you get to the end, you perhaps realize that wasn't necessarily your problem all along. Maybe you had a different problem, but it takes going on that journey to realize that. So in the show that I'm working on right now for you, right now the title is 9 Suspects, and there's a fun playwriting thing I will tell you. Quite often, plays don't have their final title until the production goes up. Sometimes the title helps get found during doing the show. So there's other titles we could do for this show too. Right now it's 9 Suspects. So really, as you read this, you're going to see that there's a problem, and the show is about trying to solve that problem. That's it. It's not super complicated. The fun part is how you go about solving that problem. And I had a lot of fun sort of finding these characters, and I'm going to keep finding these characters as we work on this. And then the cool thing is you're going to find these characters. As you're assigned roles, you get to find what's funny about that character, or what's deeper about that character, or what's the quirk that character has that makes it yours. So welcome to the journey. You will know by the end of today, you'll know what the problem is, and then you are going to help us solve it. Thanks for listening to me, and we'll talk to you next week, hopefully.